Good morning, love bugs. How are you guys doing? I hope you are well. My name is Rabbit, and welcome to episode number 51 of Let's Play Through Final Fantasy 1 via the lens of Final Fantasy Origins. In our previous episode, we completed the floor where Kraken was kind of guarding the steps. Actually, he was in the hallway, wasn't he? He wasn't technically chilling at the stairway like all of the other fiends that we've encountered so far have been. So that's kind of an interesting little twisty twist there. But much like the other fiends, he was taken down. Oh, but it wasn't as quickly as it probably could have been. He was a little mad that we disrespected both Lich and Merilith in the ways that we did. But we still ended up taking down Kraken, and now we are on the next basement level looking for the fourth and final fiend, Tiamat. So let us continue journeying forward and seeing if we can find her and get through her encounter without losing anybody. We did have a little bit of a painful struggle with the first fight with Kraken, but that's okay. We can't have everything be too terribly easy, right? So where we had specifically parted ways, I was kind of musing aloud with you guys that I am already scheming and dreaming about what we're going to wrap up 2022 or wrap up 2021 / start 2022 with in terms of games in our rotation. And actually, I'm heading south, but I wonder if I should actually go back up and try the eastern path. I don't fully recall. I don't fully recall the layout of this floor. What I really remember about these basement levels in the Temple of Chaos from the past is that Kraken's floor always, for whatever reason, was just a pain for me. My most recent personal playthrough, so this was a little while ago now, but my most recent personal playthrough of the original Final Fantasy, I ended up going in a circle a lot and just with the encounters. I was on Kraken's floor for a very long time, so I think I just kind of have internalized that that's the worst floor, but honestly, we got there pretty quickly. I think just because I remembered, like, okay, I need to make sure I go this way, but I don't super duper remember where Tiamat's kind of hiding out, but we'll find her for sure. And I will do a better job in our last episode. I kind of just talked for the full half hour, didn't I? And I did not remove any encounters for you guys. I will make sure that we eliminate a couple of the repeats here. And oh my gosh, Vampire Lord and his little vampire cronies. You know, I guess Dia would get the job done. I don't know what else you would do here. Vampire Lord, I think he needs to go for sure. I don't know what they're weak to. Well, we'll just try. I don't really want to waste. Oh, what the heck. We'll just do it, and we'll throw out another AoE. We'll just try. Are vampires weak to fire? I don't think they are. I guess at the end of the day, it's okay. We'll get through this, but they do a little too much damage, so let's not hang out with them longer than necessary for sure. But okay, let me finish what I was saying. At the end of our last episode, I was sort of discussing with you guys my plans, or tentatively anyway, my thoughts as we exit 2021 / start 2022. I'm thinking about putting up a poll at some point just to gather your feedback. So once we're done with this, we're going to wrap up Luffy and the Fortress of Doom. And once that game has also concluded, we have a few options for our rotation. And I don't want to commit to anything right now. You guys who have followed me for a while are well aware that I really like to kind of play things that I'm in the mood for at the time of me sort of sitting down and setting up and saying like, okay, I'm ready to start recording this new series. I don't really like to promise that I'm going to play any particular thing ahead of time just because I may not be in the mood for it when the time actually comes for me to begin recording and you know, working through a game that might be 40 hours of my time. I still like getting your feedback because it does sort of help shape what direction I may lean in, at least with one of the series. But we'll pick this up in just a second. Bro got another level, and finally, more HP. I feel like in our last episode with our levels, it was really a little underwhelming. People getting like 6 HP, it was a mess. But 37 for Burl, plus some strength and intelligence, endurance, and luck. That was a good, well-rounded level for him, which is excellent because we are rapidly approaching the the end of our journey, as well as the end of the dungeon. I mean, I guess it makes sense. We've already taken out, ooh, goodness, three of the 4 fiends. Can I count? 1, 2, 3. Yes, I can. So we obviously have 1 fiend left, but we've talked about this as well. That doesn't mean everything stops once we've taken out Tiamat, because it's not technically been confirmed, nor has it necessarily been denied, that the 4 fiends were the only forces behind everything going on. We don't know if they're the brains behind the operation or if they're merely pawns in someone else's attempts at taking over the world. We really don't have a whole lot of narrative that illuminates all of that information for us, so we'll just have to wait and see, friends. And wait and see we shall, because we got to take out Tiamat first, and then we'll find out if any other forces are kind of behind everything that the world has been experiencing. But to my point prior to this conversation, you guys have a few options that I'm kind of thinking about as at least one of the games that would be in the rotation. I talked for a few minutes before we wrapped up our last episode that I am heavily considering replaying The Legend of Dragoon for you as a solo run, but structured more as a walkthrough, whereas the version that's already up that Andrew and I started years and years ago and have played like intermittently over the last couple of years was meant to just be a more casual, buzzed run where we were just talking crap the whole time and just having a good time together. I think I would enjoy playing it through thoroughly as a walkthrough for you. So it's just something that's lingering in the back of my mind as option A, if you will. And looky here, we found the Masamune. Let's take a look and see, though, can anyone in our party utilize this? And it looks like it's an option for everyone, and it says it is the mightiest sword of all. Let's see exactly how mighty this Masamune is. We'll look at the stats, and ooh, diggity, look at this. Attack will just soar if we put this on Rohit, and his accuracy also goes up considerably. I mean, 20 points, that's great. I don't know why you would put it on your mages. I honestly am surprised everyone can use this. I'm guessing because it's meant to be such a robust, magnificent weapon, I am assuming it's meant to be wielded by anyone, because if you're the Warrior of Light, or one of the 4 Warriors of Light, technically I guess you're the mightiest of all, so why not have a sword that can be wielded by the mightiest of all? Anyway, we have Rohit as our primary non-primary damage dealer, if that makes sense. So Burl obviously is our number 1 main squeeze when it comes to dishing out the deets. But in terms of our mage lineup, Rohit is kind of number 2. So we'll go ahead and put it on him. I guess the Sunblade was good for what it needed to be, and it was effective against the undead. So fighting those vampire lords, it was a good weapon. But we are going to put on the Masamune and keep on running. And actually what I'll do is I'll meet you guys back at the steps, because I think we've exhausted all the treasure that should be on this floor. So I'll just cut out a whole bunch of fights, and I'll see you at the entrance of this particular floor, and then we'll go eastward in a different direction just to switch it up. Give me just a second, my friends. Okie dokie, artichokes, I made it back, so let's continue. And I do want to quickly highlight that Tyrone did end up getting a level without you, but not a whole bunch of stuff kind of came with it. I think he got 5 HP plus intelligence, and maybe his luck went up. Well, you can see his stat page now if you actually care. But for those of you that don't, that was it. That really transpired. Without you, I ran back here to the steps, and I have not done anything else. So now let's run this way, because I do believe this is the direction we need to head in to actually exit this floor. So we will do just that, and I'll also start healing up my team, because, as I always say, we want to go ahead and be prepared for what awaits us, aka more immediately what awaits us is Tiamat, but we don't know what lies beyond her as that gate to the unknown. So I was also kind of talking to you guys about the fact that I'm entertaining eventually, not necessarily in this next rotation of 2 games that will come after Luffy and the Fortress of Doom, but long term I am entertaining the idea of replaying through The Legend of Dragoon and conducting it as a thorough walkthrough or guide. So it's an option for sure. So just something to keep in the back of your minds as well as we start looking towards new games to have on the channel. In addition to that, I am strongly considering playing one of the Lunar games. And I'm thinking about the PlayStation versions. Those are the ones that I just prefer. I know some people like, I guess, the original ones, but I think Lunar Silver Star Story is amazing. It's such a charming little game. It's so cute. Kind of in the same way that I guess, wow, I took one step. Did I even take a step? Tiamat, it's you after all this time. And she's like, who are you and what are you talking about? Okay, I will go ahead and table my conversation about games. As I think about Tiamat, I don't know. See, now I'm worried because I thought Kraken wasn't going to be a big deal, and I really don't want to have anyone die. I actually lost Rohit on my way back to the stairwell without you guys, and I had to use another one of my life spells. So, you know what? I think I'm going to just have these two attack. And, ooh, let's keep it simple. I'm going to throw out a shield. And, of course, I'm going to just throw out the haste so that we can get off as much damage as we need to up front. And, honestly, since Tyrone went first and we got that on Burl, Tiamat might die after this turn. And maybe I don't need to be worrying about this at all. I just don't want anyone to die is really my concern. And, ooh, that was not a lot of damage. And thank goodness that doesn't really work on us. Tiamat, well, it might take out Tyrone because he doesn't have the ribbon. So I need to watch my mouth and take it easy here. I'll go ahead and start getting a couple of heals off. And you know what? I think we should be good. I'll have 2 heals go out, and then I'll let Rohit and Burl take care of the rest. I probably could throw Saber onto Rohit, but yeah, I think that did the trick. So not a whole lot to really worry about with Tiamat here. We're more than prepared, as we've kind of been. I think Kraken just caught me off guard. He did a lot of damage. I'm sure Tiamat could have. I don't know, you guys. I'm honestly a little surprised at that encounter with Tiamat. I was anticipating it being a little rougher, but we'll just start more crap with her. Why not? We fought everyone twice. Let's just keep that theme rolling and moving along. And we'll do the same. You know what? I'll switch it up. Let's just try Invis and see if that does anything at all. I will put haste on Burl yet again. And yeah, you guys are getting to see our new weapon in action. That's on Rohit there. I like the way that it looks, and I like the sound effect that accompanies the slashes that he dishes out. Kind of cool. But alright, we threw out an Invis, and oh lord, this might be where we get wrecked. Oh, okay. Well, goody, goody, goody. I will do my heals again since she is fumbling the bag over here. You know, thinking about Tiamat, and I may have talked to you guys about this, or maybe I've just thought about it throughout the many hours I've spent grinding off camera, trying to get my mage team up to snuff. I know everyone is kind of worried about, oh lord, that's some big damage, worried about Tiamat when you finally get to her as the final fiend, before, you know, going 2,000 years in the past to the Temple of Chaos as we are right now. I personally, this is my personal opinion, I think in terms of levels and where you're at with your progression as the Heroes of Light in the story and in the game itself, I think Merilith is the most difficult of the fiends. And this is why I think this. When you come across Lich, you should mostly be prepared for him. He's the first fiend, and yes, he's definitely tough. This game is known for its I'd say, great level of difficulty, especially for people playing it for the very first time. Lich is rough, but he's not impossible to defeat, especially if you are somewhat prepared going into that encounter with him. So I think Lich makes sense, his difficulty, and he works for where you should be in terms of your own progression up until that point in the game's story. I feel like Merilith comes so abruptly and kind of catches you a little bit with your pants down. I think the difficulty curve for her just skyrockets from Lich to Merilith, and I don't know if that was intentional or what. I think Kraken is tough too, but he kind of falls in the same camp, I think, as Lich, where by the time you get to Kraken, you should mostly be prepared for him, and you mostly should have the levels and the equipment and, you know, the stats to withstand what he's dishing out. So the thing is with Tiamat, she is definitely tough. But I think the issue with fighting Tiamat is all the shit you gotta get through to actually access her. You've gotta go through the entire Flying Fortress, and there's that hallway that actually leads to her, and the final floor. There's a potential like mini boss, if you want to call it. It's a random encounter, and we did not obviously get into it, or I would have highlighted this for you at that time. But that encounter with that monster, I think, is even more of a challenge than facing Tiamat herself. So that's what I think is the issue, and why people perceive Tiamat to be the most challenging of the four fiends. It's not that her strength or whatever is the greatest and that she's the most difficult for you to fight. I think she's the most difficult to access, and your team is like kind of beat down and busted up by the time you actually get to her. But I think Merilith is the real one that's a pain in the butt. But anyway, Rohit gained a level, only 7 HP, some strength, some agility, and that is it. Again, very underwhelming. But anyway, those are just my thoughts on it. I'm sure some people might have a different perspective, and maybe you might personally feel like Kraken is the one that you should not mess around with. And I think that's valid too. Kraken's, oh crud, I did not actually mean to heal up Rohit, but I guess it's okay because we are on another floor. We already took out Tiamat. I guess, friends, we can go ahead and explore this last floor. I think Burr will be okay. So we are on B5, and we're still pretty early on time. So what do you say we do a little bit of exploring here, and we can end the episode once we figure out, like, have we managed to save the world by taking down Tiamat? But surely not, because we still have a room to kind of comb and run through. So let's just run around and see. I don't know if we need to go down or if I should immediately go up. There's definitely a big room here. There is someone waiting for us. Oh gosh. Guys, are we ready for this? I think we are. I don't want to go in there unprepared. Let me just take a quick look at everything I've got. So I've got 1 Cure 2 left on Rohit and some Cure 3s, so that should be fine. We've still got 2 Cure 2s. I already mentioned to you guys I had to use another spell charge for Life 2 when Rohit died off camera when I was going back to the stairwell after grabbing the Masamune. Let's see here. And then I think we're okay. I'm going to have to use Saber, I think. And I'll make sure we get some haste out. I've got plenty. I think I'm actually okay. I'm just always wary. I really don't want to have this confrontation go terribly awry. So, you know, I'm thinking about that. Let's go ahead and use a memo save because you never know, friends. You never know. Okay, with all that prep, with all of that being said, and the suspense, I'm sure, in the room is high, let's see who this bozo is. Well, don't you look familiar? Don't remember me? It's Garland. Garland, the first enemy we faced at the very beginning of the game. You had kidnapped the princess? Garland, 2,000 years into the future, you killed me. But the 4 great forces sent me back in time, thus resurrecting me in the past. What? The wheel of time revolves eternally. I sent the 4 fiends of chaos into the future. And they shall once again send my future self into the past. What? My mind is blown. So Garland's been behind all of this the whole time? Wait, that is such a weird time loop and like mind game, you guys. So Garland sent the fiends to our present day. But because we kill Garland, they send him back into the past, so he resurrects them, or I guess sends them forward, and then it just keeps on keeping on. Well, how can we stop this feedback loop? It sounds like it just will keep on keeping on, right? I don't know. We got to get rid of him once and for all, though, if we want this crap to stop. 2,000 years from now, I will lose all memory of the past. Oh, Lord. Oh, and now he's going Super Saiyan form. Oh, I hope we're ready. But in the past, I will be reborn yet again. Your lives shall end here, and mine shall last forever. All right, we'll see about that, Garland. You're talking some big smack. Oh, guys, Chaos is the name, and Kicking His Butt will be our game. And I know we're a little bit early on time, but we've had 2 relatively longer episodes. Let's go ahead and just call it quicksies here, so that way our final episode, which will be episode number 52, oh my gosh, I can't believe it, but in our upcoming video, number 52, we will take out Chaos, and that will give me plenty of time to do any of my outro thoughts, and yeah, just kind of wrapping up this adventure as we transition into whatever will be taking this game's place in the rotation after Lufia and the Fortress of Doom. I already told you guys we've got some options. I can replay The Legend of Dragoon. I'm thinking about the Lunar games from the PlayStation 1. And honestly, maybe I could do like a Game Boy Advance game. Maybe I could do like Summon Night, or we could play Pokemon, maybe Fire Red or Leaf Green or Emerald. Lots and lots of choices for you guys. I'll throw up a poll, as I've tried to say a million kajillion times, but I just keep getting distracted by everything on screen. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for sticking it out with me up until this point. We've got 1 more episode to go, so let's finish strongly, friends. Take care, be good, and I, your host Rabbit, will see you here in just a moment.